Hi. For the purpose of this assignment was for us to create a social narrative in two parts as a tool to address social challenges in the classroom. For part one, we were required to develop a text narrative based on a social problem that one of our students was currently having. It was required for it to be only 5 to 6 sentences long, which had to be brief and concise. The guidelines suggested that the narrative had to demonstrate a student working towards a goal or modeling a behavior, be written in first person and in the present tense, include descriptive sentences addressing the who, what, when, where, why, create a sense of perspective, including what the student was feeling or thinking, and be written with action sentences stating desired behavior. So for the purpose of this assignment, I chose to address the need of one of my students called Zane, who has a really hard time raising his hand and waiting to be called on when the teacher is providing whole group instruction. Zane would usually just call out an answer or a question, say what he thinks or share about some experience of his without raising his hand and waiting to be called on. This situation, of course, created a very uncomfortable environment for the teacher and his classmates, making them frustrated because Zane did not follow classroom instructions. So for part two, we had to choose the most suitable tool for the visual part of the social story. And I chose to work with a website called makebelievescomics.com, which is a really nice and easy to use website where you can create a comic strip for a social story. Why I chose now this assignment? I know it is a short assignment, but I think that it's such a great resource, and I've used this tool so many times. I don't know if it really defines me as a special education teacher. However, the concept behind social stories about being an explicit teaching, being clear, brief, and concise has helped me to grow so much as a professional. Even whenever I do think alouds when addressing a specific skill, such as coloring, between the lines, has improved because I've tried to model it and to be as clear and brief and concise and straightforward as possible. It is whenever I'm modeling any kind of skill. So it is a tool that once I started implementing had such a strong impact in many classrooms that many teachers and even those that I wasn't directly working with would solicit it many times. And it has helped me be as explicit as possible when modeling a target behavior. It has also taught me about the power of explicit modeling and especially how to address the needs of many of my students that are in the spectrum. I finally realized that the social skills that my students are lacking have a way to be explicitly taught, and this strategy does actually work. The limitation that I found was not regarding the tool itself, but how it is applied. It was all very nice, but if the teacher was not consistent in showing the students the social story when we had initially planned, then the social story lost its power of change, which is why I think that the use of this strategy should always be applied within a functional assessment-based intervention to ensure that it is being applied correctly. Now, I currently use another app to design my students' social stories, which is called Comic Life. I like, and I'm going to show it to you, which is, okay. And I like using this app better because you can use those pictures of the actual students and write the narrative bubbles of what they are thinking or feeling. I've addressed other social skills, such as starting to work right away. I pay attention and follow instructions, get my materials and follow instructions right away, and how to borrow the swing to another classmate, for example. This is just how I've used it, just an example. And it's really nice because, as I stated before, you can use the students' pictures and the bubbles of what they're thinking, even from the teacher and from the student themselves as well. So I really like this strategy, and I've learned a lot from it.